If you're a religious person, how did the title of this video sit with you? Did that bother you at all or anything? How about if I just sat here and said that I think religious people are stupid? Christians are morons. I mean, if they really believe that this magic guy outside of time and space, which is synonymous with never and nowhere, created all this stuff just for us, and then he broke off a piece of himself and sent it down here like he's Voltron or something just so he'd get killed and then get zombified later so everything would be cool, you'd probably be pretty irritated if I just rambled on about how stupid and moronic I find religion and how religious people are just complete idiots. I mean, that's probably something that wouldn't sit well with you. And that's basically where this video is coming from. Because I really don't think that. But if I did say that, you know where I'm coming from. Because this is what we get when we hear most religious people talk about how atheists are angry all the time. They're just, these mean people because they're always mad. Hell yeah, I'm mad. I'm mad because, religious people say things that they have absolutely no clue as to what they're talking about. And it's irritating. It really is. And that's where we get this whole angry atheist mantra it comes from. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up something here. This was brought to my attention by Atheist Aussie. Thanks for the link. The Pasadena Sun ran an article talking about the spirituality test that the military has started doing. They didn't do this when I was in the Army, but recently they've started doing this, to see how a person's mental state is or how their well-being is, as far as, like, should this person be put on suicide watch. So they ask them a bunch of religious questions, and how they answer these questions on these tests gives them a passing or failing grade, whether they need to go for counseling or not. And it's kind of an oxymoron, because you'd think, people you would imagine as like really spiritually enlightened and things like that aren't really the type of people that are going to be picking up guns and going out and shooting people on a battlefield either. So I don't see any kind of a win situation on this, unless you want to say religious people are more apt to kill people. So several different religious leaders were asked for their opinion on this, and I agreed with most of them. Even this Jewish rabbi who says this has no place in the military, and it's actually a poor judge of whether somebody is poor judge of somebody's mental state. But of course, you've got to have the nutbag Christian pastor who's going to weigh in. And I don't even care what this guy's name is. I'm sure it's on the sign there. But this is what this clown looks like. And we'll go ahead and read his response. I know that religious people have security that atheists don't. If you believe in life after life, you fight harder, you risk more, and you serve better than the guy who thinks, this is it. If you believe you're nothing but worm food at death, you aren't going to jump on a grenade to save your platoon or charge a machine gun nest expecting to meet Jesus. You're probably going to be reserved, second-guessing, and probably be a big fat chicken. So basically what we've got is just some guy who has no experience in the subject that he's talking about running his mouth about something that he doesn't understand. And now we have somebody who has been in that situation reading his words. And it's a complete non sequitur. I don't know where religious people get this idea, like the atheist and foxholes thing, because it's completely untrue. It's factually untrue. I mean, it's been proven so many times that this whole canard about there's no atheists in foxholes is completely false. I was an atheist the entire time. Spent a lot of time in foxholes, got shot at plenty of times, returned fire plenty of times. There's atheists in foxholes, plenty of us. Now, what he's trying to say here is a complete non sequitur, saying that atheists, since we don't believe in afterlife, are less likely to put ourselves at risk than a Christian. And we can actually test this. We can, look at the evidence on this. This would be like saying Christians are more likely to pull their ripcord on their parachutes later than non-religious people, because if they just get splattered on the ground, they know they're going to heaven. So we see Christians all the time, pulling their ripcords at, later and later intervals, really pushing the envelope. Wrong. We see Christians wearing their seatbelts. We see them wearing motorcycle helmets. We see them keeping their kids from playing in the traffic. It's absolutely retarded for somebody to even try bringing this up. And people wonder why we get angry when they talk smack like this, because that's all it is. It's just complete crap. And it's just evidence that this person has absolutely no clue as to what they're talking about. You could make the same argument saying we need to cut the pay of the military, because if a soldier has a backpack full of $1 million versus a soldier that has no money, the one with the $1 million is going to try and take less risks so he can survive and get out and spend that money, versus the one that doesn't have any money. He's not going to be or he's going to be more willing to jump on a grenade or charge a machine gun nest because he don't have as much money to look forward to once the battle's over, and it's just complete garbage. You can turn this into any argument. I mean, you just change the word from atheist to black, Jew, midget, anything you want, and you could just make up any argument against any group of people. So let's go on, see what else this clown has to say. Atheists be damned. They will be. So I really don't care what they think regarding these tests. I'm tired of having their constant nagging, their constant opposition against God. They're evil. They contribute nothing positive in the long run. Their very name, atheist, means they are against, with a big no, regarding America's creator and nature's God, the one mentioned by our Declaration of Independence. Frankly, I'm sick of them. So basically, this is kind of incoherent ramblings of a madman. But you can translate it. Basically, this translates into the atheists are kicking ass on the internet when it comes down to who's actually got the evidence in these arguments, and he's tired of it. He's tired of having his ass handed to him, so he's running his mouth and he's going to vent. And he even confirms that he has no real clue as to what he's talking about when he says atheist, the A meaning they are against God. That's actually not what it means. It means without. So, he's really stretching, trying to credit this towards his vision of what atheists are, and not really what it means. I wonder what the military puts on gravestones of atheists. A thumbs down? Listen, all religions are protected by our laws, but atheists don't countenance America's documents that mention God. They don't actually deserve the rights that even bizarre religionists have. If it could be shown that people who deny God create military weakness, however small, what should commanders do when choosing a winning military? I agree with you. So we'll just start from the beginning, and since you don't understand that you can actually find out what they put on atheist gravestones, I'll go ahead and show a picture here. Pretty common knowledge. Of course, he couldn't be bothered to even look that up. He's going to run his mouth instead. Then he says that all religions are protected by our laws and things like that. Actually, non-religion is too. You have that right, and it is protected under the same laws. That's freedom of religion doesn't mean that there's no such thing as freedom from religion. Okay, I don't know if that concept doesn't quite come across to some people, but that's the way things are, no matter what they think. Saying that atheists shouldn't be allowed the same rights as religious people, or as people who believe the same as him, and somebody who died 200 years ago, is complete nonsense. The people who have volunteered, because he's talking about military people here, these are atheists and religious people. I'm not saying anything bad about religious people, but he doesn't understand that these people have actually volunteered to defend and protect the rights that he's talking about, should the need arise. I highly doubt he has any military experience just due to what he's saying. He actually sounds like somebody who has not been in that situation. So it's absolute, complete nonsense. And saying that this test is a very good judge of who should be in the military and who shouldn't. Yeah, I don't see this test sticking around and being used for much longer because it's so retarded that it's nonsense. I mean, if he agrees with it, then he's saying that people who are spiritually enlightened and ace this test are the better people to have guns and be jumping on grenades and shooting at people. It just seems like a complete oxymoron to me on that. So, and so people ask me all the time, why do you bother, talking about religion and stuff like that? It's like, I don't just open the conversation by saying, I hate religion, or I hate God, or any stupid thing like that, like I'm accused of. It's not the case. When I say something about this, it's because it's a response to something else that has been said. Even during the course of me making this video, you might have heard my little email notification thing going off. I'm having that conversation right now, because I get responses like this. So you'll have to pause this, because I'm not going to leave this up for a whole lot of time here. So if you want to read this whole thing, go ahead and pause it. But how do you even reply to some moron like this? I mean, this is somebody that you can't even have a conversation to, so I usually just, pipe up with something like this. So here's somebody who's virtually the same style of person as that pastor mentioned in the first part of this video. This person's, telling me I need to find Jesus, the world's going to end, all this stuff. Yet they haven't even read their own book that they accused me of not reading. Because had she read Revelation, she would know what would have been happening prior to these sounds going off. So this is a person who doesn't even know what the hell she's talking about. Going to spam my, YouTube channel with just all these Jesus, Jesus, Jesus comments. And this is why I think these people are complete idiots. I don't think all religious people are idiots, but these are the people we end up dealing with. Okay? If someone's religious, I don't care. I don't care if you're a Christian. I don't care if you're a Muslim. I don't care if you're a Mormon. I don't care if you're a Scientologist. I don't care. Don't expect me to believe the same stuff, and don't run your mouth talking smack about people who don't believe the same thing you do, and you would never hear a word from me. But since people want to run their mouths and talk smack, they're going to hear from me, and nobody's going to tell me to stop. So that's about all I have to say on this subject. Take care, everybody.